Well, everybody here, enough here to get started. Sorry it's a little earlier, but kind of a lot of stuff going on today. But I do want to start out with reality instead of the Disney world that I live in. The reality is tomorrow we're observing the 1 year anniversary of the violence that our community had to deal with last February 13th. And I said, I hope everybody pauses and remembers the lives of the three we lost, especially Ariel, Brian, and Alexandria. But there were others that were injured, and we had John here not that long ago, and it just makes you kind of realize how there's so many more important things in life than maybe what we do. But it's also a time to reflect and grieve and honor the people that lost their lives. And one of the things I learned last year was that, you know, the grieving process is different for everybody. And it's different when you're kind of involved. You know, I was, in my mind, on the inside, looking out, not the outside looking in, just because my son had been over there to pick up his girlfriend, just because I was given the honor to speak to our whole student body and really the whole community. And but in our own unique way, everybody can grieve how they grieve. That's going to be the case once again tomorrow. And I hope we do grieve, and I hope we do honor them, and I hope we do remember them. So I think too many times life goes on and you forget about the things that are really important. So just as I was called on, and what I said to everybody last year about being together, you know, going through something like this, in this selfish world we live in that is pretty siloed, if you ask me. My battle cry, it wasn't a motivational speech, it was different for me, but when I sat down with Mex and Matt Larson and we talked about, you know, what needed to be said, it was all about everybody helping each other get through tough times. And I think that could be used every day of our lives, whether it's your family, personally, whether it's the people that are Spartan family, or whether it's our country. So by all means, I encourage everybody to take a pause, remember it, think about what you could do to help make the situation better in our world, and that support that night. And I've been here through some incredible experiences, parades with a couple 100,000 people. I've been through welcome homes with everybody, but walking out in front of the number of people and looking over and seeing something that was amazing to me. I met a 91-year-old woman, and I talked to a 12-year-old boy. I saw white people, black people, Hispanic people, Korean people. I saw every nationality in the country. They were all there. There were old people from our community, there were young people from our school systems, and there were students from our own university. And it was, it just made me appreciate that if we all work together, we all help each other, we'll be a better university, we'll be a better city, we'll be a better state, we'll be a better country. So take a moment tomorrow and think back, and you know, it's one of those things that you kind of remember where you were when you first heard it. And say a prayer for the people that we lost. And when you see people that have been through it, that are still struggling, like when John came back and came in our locker room in his wheelchair and was so upbeat, was so incredible, it humbled me to my knees on, you know, what an impact we can all have on each other. So God bless the ones that we lost, the ones that have been affected, and please remember, don't ever forget them. So, hopefully that tomorrow will help bring us even closer together by remembering them. As far as our team goes, and it's hard to go from that to this, but it's my job, it's what I do. And I would, going back to it for one, a lot of people ask me, well, it's not the head coach's job to speak. There's certain things you get to do in this job that are burdens, that are problems, that you say, God, I wish I didn't have to do that. And then there's certain things you get to do in this job that's a privilege and an honor. That day, as I look back, scared to death when I got up there because there were so many people. I don't get scared that easy. It was an honor. And so now I remember after it, the Michigan situation, the incredible job they did, incredible job we did in our first home game. I mean, that's what you do. You don't forget, you try to help heal. And that's where we are. So as far as our team goes, coming off that great win Saturday, a win against a team that's ranked in the top 10, and I said one of the most talented teams I think there is in the whole country. It was hard to believe that they made 11 threes and you won a game. But you won it because of the right reasons. You won it because you didn't turn the ball over. We did defend pretty well. They made some great threes. We rebounded the ball pretty well. One of the staples we have to have, defend, rebound, and we ran very well. So points off, turnovers, fast break points, we won all those categories. And that's what Michigan State has to do if we're gonna continue to grow. Now, can we carry this on? I'm embarrassed to say that mark of a good coach is to get as much out of his players as he can get out of them. The mark of a good coach is to gain consistency within a program. I think over the years we've been consistent. I don't think we've been as consistent this year, and that's why that falls on me. So we're trying to use yesterday everything we could do to talk about why did we play at a different level? Why did this guy do a better job? Why did that guy? And what one of my assistants said was really good. Illinois played good. You don't make 11 threes not playing good. They played hard. They're well coached. They came out at the start of the second half and adjusted to our things we were doing in the post and put Hawkins down there. That was a great coaching move. They did a hell of a job, and we still found a way to win. We were down a couple times. I think our crowd helped us. What I told our players, now we got to learn that you go on a road, your crowd doesn't help you. You have to help each other. And that's where we have to do, I think, a better job. We just have to kind of galvanize together. Watching the Super Bowl excites me because all the pregame stuff was about some of the problems that Kansas City had during the year, the tough loss on Christmas Day, the this and that. And then I was reminded by one of our players from the Magic days that, they were 5-4 at one time, critical game, and I think won after a big time loss at Northwestern and went on, of course, to win the league. And then, where do I think this team is? I think they're every bit where I thought they were at the beginning of the year. I did not know about Malik at the beginning of the year, and he's had maybe as good at 10 games as 10 out of 11 that he can have. I did know a lot about my three guards. I think they're every bit as good. I think they have to get more consistent. I know a lot about the coach. I think he can do his job. He too has to get a little bit more consistent. So if we do all those things, we hit a Penn State team that's won 3 out of 4. Coulda, shoulda, maybe beat Northwestern on the road yesterday. They've been really good at home. They've had a couple guys that have stepped up, but the Ace Baldwin kid, has been really good. The Cleary kid got hurt, and it kind of changed their team a little bit. They've got another guy named Brown who came in that hardly did much against us here and is playing really well. I think every one of their guys that are playing have improved, and that speaks volumes about their coach. 3 of their 4 last, including wins over Wisconsin and a potential win over Northwestern, tells you that they're beating and playing with the best teams in the league. Baldwin is averaging 18 points in the last 5 games, so he's playing at an elite level, and they have very good guards. It's going to be a great challenge for our 3 guards who maybe played the best game together that they've played. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we can do, but we need to go on the road and bring the same kind of intensity we did a couple days ago. And if we do, I like our chances. If we don't, I don't like our chances.
Hey Tom, just want to thank you for your comments about the anniversary. We all appreciate that, I'm sure. Last week you talked about how you ripped yourself. You said 2 days straight, you put yourself through that. Can you give a little insight on the process of how you worked your way out of it and how you think that helped get the outcome you wanted for the game against Illinois?
It's a deep question. You'd be the guy to ask a deep question. You know, I've always said you have to look in the mirror before you can look outside of it. And, you know, I think holding people accountable is getting more difficult. And yet, you know, it was magic when I asked him one time 10 years ago about going to the NBA and can I deal with this, can I deal with that? He said the great players and great teams all want to be held accountable. Sometimes they don't know it. And I thought about, you know, what he said, and then I thought about my best teams. They were player-coach teams, which means I didn't have a lot to do with it. And you know, I laugh about it, but it's true. A player-coach team is better than a coach-coach team. And I think, you know, the huddle the other day, that's exactly what I got. You know, I got some guys upset where everybody would normally have a fit. You know, I did just what I always do. I got after Jaden for the tee because I'd already told him. And then I brought him back in. I got after Tyson, and he came back at me. That was the greatest thing that ever happened. It's the coach's way of knowing that it matters to the player. And I think when those things happen, you know, as they did often with Mateen or with Travis or with Draymond or Denzel, you know, I mean, I could go through the list of timeouts that would probably be aired only on HBO. But there's something about knowing that it matters to somebody that much. And I think they're understanding it matters to me that much. And, you know, I'm starting to understand who it is to them. So I just looked at it like, I got to do my job better. And if that means that some people are upset, so be it. If that means that it doesn't look right to the masses, so be it. So I did that for a day and a half. You're damn right, exactly like that. Beat the hell out of myself. Got a few of my staff members involved in getting beat up a little bit. And it sounds so crazy, and people that aren't in it wouldn't understand it. But for me, it was refreshing because I think we always blame somebody else. And I'm probably sure I did some of that myself. And so then I did that. I met with a couple of my seniors, and I'm not ready to say it worked yet, because consistency is when I know it worked. But I know it kind of gave us a moment of, this is the way it can be. And I came back yesterday and said, this is the way it should be. And how are we gonna get there collectively? What can I do better? Or what can you do better? Open dialogue. You tell me what you want from me, I'll tell you what I want from you. And I realized kind of what everyone said, you know, guys want to, they just don't it's getting harder because they got so many people they're hearing from now compared to how it was, and instead of me fighting it, and I think I gave in to some of it, and so I'm back to fist fighting it, but at the same time understanding that it's okay to change, adjust. Andy Reid last night went from this passing team that did everything this year. All of a sudden, they got more into a running game. I know I use football analogies, but they're so easy to see. They're so true. And so, I don't know, just maybe around the corner, bring out the football pads again, and have some real fun. Maybe it's right around the corner. I don't know, but I did appreciate that those guys knew their backs were against the wall, and they responded, and that's really what you want to get out of people. Can they respond? Now, how do we consistently do that? That's the next step.
Great. Thank you so much.
Kind of along those same lines, but whether you're 29 years in as a Hall of Famer or in your first year of school, like Mike is at Penn State, as a coach, how do you kind of, I guess, keep the understanding is that I'm constantly learning? There's not a repeat button based on all of these things.
For me, I watch so much on how other people do things. Yes, I watch Mark D'Antonio here. Yes, I watch Nick Saban because I try to find guys that I know something about. I watched the Miami Heat. I watched Pat Riley just because Irvin talked about him so much my early years, and I see how people did them, and what I figured out is there's still a principle to what you do. There's a principle thing that you have to believe in on how you can have success. And then whether you run it, throw it, kick it, all those things, those are the intangibles that I think you can adjust to. When we're not a great defensive team or a great rebounding team or don't have mental or physical toughness, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable if it was 30 years ago, if it was 20 years ago, if it's 20 years from now. How I get through to guys, there are new adjustments. What is important? I have to make them realize that my experience helps me with that. I said it in the huddle. I'll give you an example. I don't know why they got the T. I did not see what happened. I said in the huddle, if anybody breathes or looks at somebody the wrong way, you're getting a T. And they all looked at me, what do you mean? I said, you, AJ, don't even look at somebody wrong. And he said, I didn't do nothing. I said, I'm using my 29 years of experience to try to tell you that I know what's going to happen. You're going to have to trust that. So where somebody thought I threw up a nice play, that was my lecture. And by the way, it didn't get through. And of all the people that got a T, probably the best kid I got on my team. Best student, this kid, if I told him to be here at 4 a.m, he's here at 4. He's never been late for anything, he's never done this. He didn't talk it, but he gestured. And that's kind of telling you, I can't adjust to that. Now, in Mateen's day and Morris's day, would I have taken him out of the game? 100%. I would have, and my job security then was 0. But I also realized that I make 100 mistakes. And somebody made a mistake. And what is he normally like? And that was my adjustment. He did not deserve. He deserved to be told it, but not the ultimate thing of taking him out. So I told him after, you're right, I did get after you. I left you in the game. That's my way of telling you. I love you, I appreciate you. I know how you've been most of your time here, and I'm gonna take that as a mistake. Now, you know what I was most upset about? Yeah, the 2 points. No. I was more upset about you getting another foul because I need you in the game, and now you get another foul for no reason. And it's like, oh my God, never thought of that, you know? That's where the 29 years of experience comes in. So, good question. That's my way of answering it in a roundabout way. Go ahead.
Tom, I know you've mentioned a lot. You feel the high ceiling with your three guards defensively.
I do.
With their personnel, is that part of the message or challenge this week? Like, go prove it, and can Tyson still be that guy for you when he's a little banged up and getting beat
Yeah,
up?
you know, and you talk about how great it is, you know, to have all the guys back, and a lot of guys back. And I ran into Tyson's dad after, and I said, is it genetics or is it my fault that he's missing free throws since he's such a good shooter? And he started laughing. And I said, I gotta have someone to blame it on because everybody blames me, so I'm blaming it on your genetics, you know. And he goes, you know who just had him up in the gym? I mean, this is 25 minutes after the game. I said, so what are you talking about? He goes, Steve Smith came down and grabbed him and said, let's go up and shoot some free throws. That's what I have here, that I swear to God to you, very few in the entire country have. And I hope our fans, I hope our players, I know the coach appreciates that. And then Steve came to me and I said, man, what did you do? You know, what'd you say to him? Because I don't see anything broken when his shot. Am I that? He goes, you know what? I think he gets tired in games, and maybe you're not shooting enough free throws when he's tired. Go back to, when do you quit learning? Hopefully when I'm dead, not before that. So that was kind of another funny story. That, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. If Tyson misses a couple free throws in the next game, I'm firing Smitty. But other than that, that's some of the things that are so cool here. I mean, I didn't say a word to Steve. I didn't say nothing. And Ty's dad was like so impressed, you know. And first thing his mom said was, well, when he's done, we're coming back here, like those parents over there came back for their reunion. Well, Steve Smith might have aided in that without even knowing it. So I don't want to get off on tangents, but I better realize how lucky I am sometimes.
How about your guards defensively against them?
Yeah, the guards, you know, I told my guards, some of you might have picked them, some of you maybe not, but in some of the magazines they're picked as the best backcourt, or one of the best backcourts in the country, all three of them. I said, have we consistently played like that? They said no. I said, why not? I didn't have a good answer, they didn't have a good answer, you know? But guard play is what helps you win when you get to a tournament. Guard play what helps you win in big games. Why have we lost some of these 2-3 point games at the end? Guard play's gotta be, and coaching. You gotta take the responsibility for that. And whether it be sometimes missing a free throw, whether it be sometimes, you know, not doing enough defensively or not offensively, but we're gonna face a very good perimeter. Those two guys, Cleary and Ace Baldwin, are they're the real deal. They both can score it, they both can drive it, they're both strong, they're both tough, and they've got a couple other guys now. Brown has really added in some shooting. They've got some other guys that are perimeter guys that we're gonna have to guard. So yeah, it's a good game to come back from after playing good here. Now you get a whole different, you know, we went against big guards at Illinois, athletic guards. Now we're gonna go against athletic, smaller guards. So it's gonna be a good challenge for them.
You touched on this a little bit in your opening comments, but last year with the shooting, that first game back was in Ann Arbor, and what did that support that you guys walked into with, you know, the Spartan Strong showing, you know, their band playing MSU Shadows, what did that mean to you being connected to the university so long and this rivalry for so long? What did it mean to you to see your rivals kind of embrace you guys as you came in as the visitors?
Well, they 100% did. And it wasn't because Jawan made them or their president or their AD, it wasn't, you could tell when you were there that it was sincere from their heart. because I think everybody needs a wake-up call once in a while to know there are bigger things than the rivalry. And that was one of those rare moments, and I've said this to Fred earlier, that why do we always need a tragedy to bring us together? And that proved the point, you know, the tragedy brought two hated rivalries together, you know. The tragedy at the Hurricanes and Twisters in Alabama brought Auburn and Alabama together, you know. The plane going into the building brought our country together, you know. Maybe we could learn, if we would do a better job getting together on some things. Still gotta hate your rival. But where I think I've changed, and I talked to Adam about this, respecting your rival is what you need to do. And that was respect they showed for us. And I told Juwan on the floor, I told his AD, I tried to tell the students that was greatly appreciated, and it was classy, and I really believe it was from their heart. And so that meant a lot to me, really did.
When it comes to consistency and trying to get guys to play at the same level every game, do you think part of the issue this season has been, you know, the fact that the backcourt was declared by some as being one of the top ones in the country? You guys came in number 4 in the preseason. There was almost like the guys that get up for certain games but not other games,
Yeah.
because they just think it's.
Yeah, you know, I think that's a way that everybody should look at it. In other words, we always say, I'll have to change the terminology now, but terminology is, what are you reading, your press clippings? Now I gotta say, what are you reading, your TikTok, Twitter, FaceTime, whatever else there is out there, but are you doing that? And you know, ironically, I don't believe that. I wish I did, because it would make it easier for me to figure out. I don't believe that. I don't believe, I think it was a nice honor, it was a collective honor, but I don't think any one of them, you know, they're not on everybody's draft page. They're not on every draft site. Those guys know that. You know, we got one of them that's up for some player of the year things, but it's not like anybody's a slam dunk in their stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. We have a together team. You know, there's nobody mad at anybody, but it's been a little more difficult, and that's why I deserve to be hard on myself. You know, that is my job, and I've done some different things, and I think I'm trying to go back to the old-fashioned way. No, I'll listen to you sometimes about some things, but the majority of things, they are what they are for a reason.
We have time for 1 or 2 more.
Just a quick follow-up. I guess, do you think sometimes when you guys build these leads, you guys get comfortable? Is maybe what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, that's, I guess I apologize if I didn't look at it the same way. I do think we make some lapses when we get up. You know, there's a couple bad shots, there's a bad defensive play, there's a free throw miss. So are we losing focus during that time? I mean, nobody wants to miss a shot, nobody wants to lose a game. Maybe that is maybe we are losing. Like the other day, I said, okay, it's the 12-minute mark. You know, should we take a couple bad shots? I mean, this is how the huddles go. Are we gonna learn from mistakes we made the last game, you know? And so you try to bring those things out, but that could be we lose a little focus. I don't know why though. I mean, again, we're fighting for our playoff lives. We're fighting for everything. So, but as I say that, you know, I don't think it's legal that Kentucky can lose 3 home games in a season, especially in a row. I bet everybody here is surprised that Wisconsin lost 4 in a row. I mean, I thought they might have been the best team in our league. So I use that as an excuse that, you know, maybe saves me a little bit because it's happening to everybody. But I said this last week, what happens to everybody shouldn't happen to Michigan State. Because we have enough players around that have talked about it. We have a coach around who's been through it. Now we need players to believe in it, and that's kind of what we're looking to do. Max has cut me off because I got another function to go to, but I owe you at least. There was one more question I think somebody had. You got it.
With Tyson, you know, I think one of the things we saw last week is the usual bump, push, shove, all those things when he's running on offense. But I noticed something on defense that Minnesota was sending guys immediately off, make or miss, to make him run down the court. Are you seeing teams trying to intentionally wear him down?
Oh, there's no question. Especially with the first part of what you said. I mean, if you watch the film closely, you know, there is a lot of it, and I told him, you know, that was my way of adjusting. Okay, I agree with you. I see it. I'm not gonna change because you're on the win list. You are on the shooting guard list. You are our leading scorer. You know, welcome to big time sports. This is what happens. You know those scouting reports that we give you? Do we ever put the 5th best scorer on the front page? I said, you're a front page guy now, and you're small, and they're gonna try to take advantage of that, and you gotta fight through it. And I think he could fight through it. I think the injury has presented a little bit of a problem because he's actually getting better. You know, today we're gonna give him the day off too, and he had yesterday off. But for a shooter, you know, it's different. A quarterback is different. A down lineman can take off a week and be the same. So it's different, you know, but we have to adjust a little bit to it. But he seems to be coming back from that fine. He'll just never be 100% this year. But if he's 90, I'm cool with that. And that's what we gotta do. We gotta keep him there because it's not just gonna go away. You know, a pulled groin muscle, that's not gonna go away. And you never get enough time to rest where you can just rest it. And somebody's gonna say, well, rest it for the tournament. We gotta get in the tournament. Or rest it for the Big Ten tournament. We gotta be in the right seat to get there, you know, so he knows it, we know it. And by the way, if it was hurting him worse, I mean, we're not stupid, we wouldn't do that either. And so he's learning to play through it. He's doing better. He's learning how to adjust to more physical play. He's doing better, but those things are not easy if you haven't had to do them. So I don't know. I still think that this team is good enough to go on a big run, and they're inconsistent enough that, you know, I still don't sleep very good. So it's different. It's an adjustment. It's a little different, but it's. I feel I'm more at peace with it now. I'm 1 week and I see him as go from a very low spot to a very high spot, with no in between. And so now I figure out those things and try to adjust. So appreciate it. Sorry I didn't have more time, but one of these days before the season ends, we should have a round table just in honor of all the past media guys and myself that we did it for so many years. And maybe we'll try to do that one more time. All right? Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.